Hi, Algebra 1. Here you're going to be working on using the number line to look at distances between decimals. Here we go. Starting in number 1, we're going to look for the nearest integers. That means whole numbers that are closest to each target number. The target number is going to be your decimal, and show how far away the target number is from each integer. So 4.3 in number 1, it's going to be between 4 and 5, and it is 0.7 away from 5, and it's going to be 0.3 away from 4. In number 2, the target is negative 1.4. That's going to go right there. That's going to be between negative 1 and negative 2. It is 0.4 away from negative 1, and it's 0.6, if we go this way, away from negative 2. In number 3, 5.7 is going to be between 5 and 6. It's going to be closer to 6, so we'll put it about right here. And it's going to be 0.3 away from 6, and it's going to be 0.7 away from 5. In number 4, 5.07 is going to be between 5 and 6, so we'll put that there, and it's going to be a lot closer to 5, so we'll put that right there. Now, distances on this one, to 5 is going to be 0.07 away, and then from 6, that's going to be 0.93 away from 6. And what we really did here is we subtracted 6 minus 5.07 is going to be 0.93. In number 5, I set up a number line here. Be sure to draw that in your book as well. And to look for the distance, I'm going to think about what's in between here. I would have 7.83, then 7.84, then 7.85. Notice that this is definitely not to scale in any way, but it is helping me see that it's going to be a distance of 0.03, because each of these is 1/100th. In number 8, a number line is going to be very helpful because I'm going from the negatives into the positives this time. So I'm going to be sure to mark 0 on here to help me make the leap. So from negative 0.1 to 0 is 0.1, and then from 0 to 0.8 is 0.8. So my total distance, if I put these together, would be 0.9. In number 9, we're going to find the distance between 4 and 9.4. Remember, when we're finding the distance, it's really like subtracting. But we're going to use the number line to help us here. So we're going to go from 4 to 9 first. That's a distance of 5. Then from 9 to 9.4 is 0.4. So the total distance here would be 5.4. In number 10, I'm going from 9 to 2.8. So I'm first going to go from 9 to 3, because I know that that distance is 6. Then from 3 to 2.8 is 0.2. So my total distance here would be 6.2. We're going to skip to number 12, the distance between 2 and negative 5.3. So I'm going to stop at 0 along the way here. So from 0 to 2 would be 2. And from 0 to negative 5.3 would be 5.3. So my total distance between them is 7.3. So when you're doing problems like this, definitely draw out that number line and use it to make your jumps to find your total distances. Here's a conversation between Lena, Michael, and Jay. They're going to find the distance between 15.7 and 36.04. So Lena says we can subtract. So 36.04 minus 15.7 is kind of difficult to do. Michael says you can subtract, but I'm going to draw a number line. So here's his number line and the distance between them. Lena says, okay, but how does that help? Michael says, wait, I'm not finished. He puts in marks for some numbers that are easier to use. 16, which is close to 15.7, and 36, which is close to 36.04. Then Lena says the distance from 16 to 36 is 20, and Jay says, yep, let's fill in the other ones too. So 16 to 15.7 would be a distance of 0.3, and 36 to 36.04 would be a distance of 0.04. Then Jay says, now we can find the total distance by adding up those smaller distances. So these three together is that total distance between the two numbers. When you add them all up, the total distance would be 20.34. Okay, in 13, we're finding the distance between negative 19.2 and negative 1.6. So we already have a number line here with some points drawn that'll make it easy. So from -2 to -19 is a distance of 17. From 2 to -1.6 would be a distance of 0.4. And from 19 to -19.2 would be a distance of 0.2. So if we look for the total distance between these, we would end up with 17.6. In number 14, we're going from -30.1 to 7.35. I'm going to put in -30 right here. And I know there's some crossing from positives to negatives, so I'm actually going to add one here that they don't have. I'm going to add in 0 right there. And so I know from 0 to 7 is 7, from 0 to -30 is 30. So the total distance from 7 to -30 is 37. Then I finish out from -30 to -30.1 is 0.1. And on the other side, from 7 to 7.35 is 0.35. And so these are the three I need to add together. And the total distance would be 37.45. Number 15, I'm going to fill in some of my benchmarks. I'm going to put 23 right here. I'm going to put -1 right there. I also notice I'm going to be crossing 0, so I'm going to add that in right here. And from 0 to -1 is 1. From 0 to 23 is 23. So I know that total distance is 24. Then over here, from -1 to -1.2 is 0.2. From 23 to 23.02 is 0.02. And if I add all three of these chunks together, I get 24.22. In number 16, these are the three distances I ended up having to add together. Now over here, I added together my decimals first, just because I noticed that that's going to be a little more challenging. So that was 1.14. Add that to 10, my total distance is 11.14. I'm going to put 15.9 on the left, 26.05 on the right because it's greater. And then I'm going to put in my easier numbers. Here's going to be 16. Here's going to be 26. The distance between those is 10. On the left, it's 0.1. And on the right, it's 0.05. So I end up with 10.15 as the total distance. Now we're starting with a blank number line in number 18. So I'm going to put -30.11 at the end, -19.8 up here. I'll put -20 as a number close to it, and -30 right here. And for my distances, there's 10, 0.2, and 0.11. So if I add all three of those together, I end up with 10.32. All right, guys, that's it for finding distances with decimals on a number line. Make sure you use that tool. You can, pretty simple to just draw a line and start labeling and finding those distances. All right, get going with practice problems. Nice job.